I ask, you answer, and now I deliver more AntonBlast content. Am I doing this out of obligation? Hell no! This game is amazing, so I'm always glad to come back and do more!
So what's next on the list? Well, it might sound simple, but why not go after a level ranking? After all, they're a core essence of AntonBlast. Sure, 12 levels may not sound like a big number, but the advantage is that most of them are pretty huge and all of them are very distinct from one another. Even at their worst, they still deserve to be highlighted. And besides, it gives you an excuse to replay the entire game again.
There's two things to take into consideration. One, I am not talking about the bosses, that's obviously a completely separate topic. And two, I know I shouldn't keep bringing this up every single time, but you'll be surprised at some of the comments that I get. But anyways, this video is 100% subjective, all based on my own experiences and personal opinion. You may agree or disagree, and that's fine. I actually encourage you to share your own opinions in the comments. But yeah, I am not claiming that this is the only true way to rank the levels. With nothing more to say, let's get started!
Any woman in Boiler City would be proud to be Mrs. Satan.
The thing about these ranking videos is that someone will always have to be at the bottom of the barrel. In this case, that spot belongs to Pinball Meyer, and I'll be real with you, at no point did I ever hesitate to put it this low. And it's not like I hated the level and I cursed the developers for making it, it's just the one gimmick that defines it is not that good. Surprise surprise, Pinball Meyer has you playing pinball at different points of the stage.
Wow.
I can see where they're going. Pinball's nature as an erratic and fast-paced game does borrow itself perfectly for a chaotic title like AntonBlast. And to be fair, there are moments in which they merge so well. Going at fast speeds and bouncing like crazy left and right. It can be fun sometimes, especially during some sections of the happy hour. However, as you progress, the boards start to get bigger and get harder to reach areas. And that's when you start to get a bit frustrated, since you just want to get a move on. To be fair, the game does let you have some control over the ball, and I like that, it kinda reminded me to Sonic's Pinball. And while this does alleviate some of the frustration, it's still not enough to make me enjoy the boards more. Even after repeated playthroughs, I still struggle to get into certain sections, which eats a lot of my time. But hey, at least there's an AntonBlast cameo, that's pretty cute. Outside of the pinball machines, Pinball Meyer is fine. I like using the respawning blocks and the
balls of steel
from the blunderbusters to bounce with the hammer and reach new areas. But yeah, most of this stuff eventually ends to fully devote the level to pinball. Besides all of this, Pinball Meyer doesn't strike much of an impact on me. Its setting is one of a swamp that eventually transitions into lava caverns. But it's kinda dull looking, and the music... Man, I'm not gonna lie, I've replayed this level a handful of times and I can never seem to remember the track that plays in the background. You know, during the last level of AntonBlast, you get to do an optional pinball section. And if you screw it up, a little devil will say, if you can't pinball under pressure, you're not a real pinballer. And you know, maybe he's right, maybe it's just a skill issue, but even so, Pinball Meyer just doesn't cut it for me. And it's for that reason that I consider this the worst level in AntonBlast.
The devil's in the details.
I don't know why, but I have the feeling that putting the big bat so low is going to have some people going after me. I will understand it, but before you do that, please let me explain. The Big Bath is a great level with a very unique atmosphere. As soon as you enter, you can't help but have this feeling that something is very off. The eerie music, the lack of action, and just how empty it is. The Big Bath just has this oppressive atmosphere that, while it isn't exactly scary, it is very uncomfortable. And sure, not so long after, the game just continues to get weirder, with paths that constantly change, pitch black rooms, and strange entities, including a rubber ducky with a giant fist, funniest enemy in the game. It goes without saying that the Big Bath is heavily inspired by those liminal spaces that Zoomers love so much, and by all accounts, I think it executes the concept very well. Outside of that, the Big Bath also has other strong qualities. I actually enjoyed the underwater sections, yeah! AntonBlast in general does this very well. The controls are very smooth, responsive and keep the pace going. And the plot twist at the end where you get to a fake exit was an amazing surprise, I really like this moment. So if that's the case, then why is the Big Bath so low? You see, what makes this level so good is its first impression. The first time you go around it, yeah, it's weird, confusing and even uncomfortable. But after the first time, that magic just goes away and I'm sorry, but that's what happened to me. When you do your second, third, fourth run and so on, you already know what to do, what to expect. Oh, this road is closed, better go back again. There we go. Oh, is this the end of the level? Of course not! Now I know there's one more section to do. So with that first impression gone, all that remains is a very simple and short level which, yeah, as I said, still has some good qualities. But it just never hits that high anymore. I think that if there had been a constant threat that kept you on your toes throughout the entire level, like say, an insta-kill enemy that chased you or something like that, it would have been able to retain some of that magic of its first impression. I just want to clarify, the Big Bath is not a bad level, it just loses its luster when you return to it. While the rest of the levels, I will argue, only get better the more you replay them. That's why I put the Big Bath on the 11th spot.
I know what Antoine's middle name is, but I'll never tell.
I'll be real with you. Between this and the 9th spot on the list, you can honestly swap them depending on the day and my mood. But yeah, at least today, Cinnamon Springs is ranked just a little bit lower. This is the 3rd level on the game, and I'll give it credit. Compared to the last 2 levels, this one cranks up the difficulty a lot. It's way longer and adds trickier challenges that you either get good at or get ready to not progress at all. Cinnamon Springs will teach you how to use your hammer in creative ways, such as using enemy projectiles to reach greater heights and even time your bounces properly to move even faster. You have disappearing platforms like in Mega Man, as well as a tornado transformation that is so much fun to use. And as the name implies, there are springs that you can use as extra platforms to keep climbing. Aesthetically, I like the theme of the level. A frigid mountain filled with lava that eventually evolves into Buddhist temples with satanic marks on them, as well as unique enemies like totems and darumas. There's a lot of polar opposites here that I really like, and the music is pretty damn good. It gives me a lot of Crash Bandicoot vibes, like, no, seriously, look at how natural it feels if I put it on Crash gameplay. The one thing that actively pisses me off about this level though, is that one mistake can cost you a lot of time, bringing you all the way to the beginning of an area which can get a bit annoying. Even so, Cinnamon Springs is a great time that earns the 10th spot on the list. But who knows, maybe tomorrow it'll feel like a 9th spot.
Take a screenshot! It'll last longer! Oh, I never!
Slow Roast Sewer is kinda weird, in which, in hindsight, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Like, yeah, the theme is nothing particularly original or exciting, and at times it might be a bit forgettable. But what puts this above Cinnamon Springs just a tad bit more is that I find it better paced and not as frustrating. Slow Roast Sewer doesn't go too crazy with its challenges or set pieces, but I think its biggest strength is that it comes right after Boiler City, the first level of the game, and as such, it puts into practice everything you learn there. The obstacles are relatively simple, but it is so much fun to beat them as fast as possible. You can gain some crazy speed in this level, and I enjoy that so much. As for new stuff, Slow Roast Sewer is the first level to introduce swimming sections, although not as plentiful as the Big Bath to get a full grasp of it. And it also has the sewer shark transformation, which I enjoy a lot. Climbing through water currents and dashing at anvils is very exhilarating, especially during the happy hour in which you need to keep the speed going to escape. I also really like this section in which everything is dark except for the background. It's so aesthetically pleasing. And yeah, I've seen this before in other games. Doesn't make it any less awesome saying it here. Also, can we just talk about how difficult it is to find Paul in this level? It's like, you take a detour during the happy hour, and then you have to make this very tight jump. It takes you minutes trying to fit in until you run out of time. Then you do the happy hour all over again and give it another shot, and finally you get the jump right. But then you realize, damn it, I forgot the blue detonator! Then you find it, do the jump again, find Paul, and then you already ran out of time again. It's ridiculous, but damn it, if that is not one of the most memorable challenges in this game. While Slow Row Sewer is far from being the greatest level in the game, it's still good, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Oh, don't you know how to knock?
As we just saw with the Big Path, first impressions are very important. And thankfully, Boiler City passed that test with flying colors. As the first level in the game, it does an excellent job at showing you what you can expect from AntonBlast. It teaches you the basics very well, from the clutch mechanic, bouncing with your hammer, how detonators can open new paths, even smaller stuff like sliding and rolling into a ball, as well as your first ever happy hour. And more than the mechanics, Boiler City knows very well how to set up the tone for the rest of the game. With its obstacles, humor, and tons of explosions, it gives players a small but satisfying taste of things to come. Something that really stands out about this level is that, while it is easy to play, it is difficult to master, seriously. The time trial here doesn't mess around, but it's a great incentive to come back and keep trying. Boiler City may be the simplest level in the entire game. It doesn't have insane set pieces or unique mechanics. It serves no other purpose than to be a tutorial and teach you the basics. But damn it, if it doesn't do an excellent job at grabbing your attention from the beginning. And can we just talk about how good of a song Dynamite Man is? Yeah, I love this song, it's awesome. Boiler City is the 8th spot on the list.
Oh, how I hate dealing with squatters.
Devil Gardens has been a bit conflicted. It's a level with bad lows and incredible highs. Yeah, it leaves me a bit mixed on some occasions, but man, when it gets good, it gets good! But one step at a time. Devil Gardens has you helping a DJ demon to throw a party. As such, he asks multiple favors of you, such as getting drinks, changing the music, and disrupts Satan's schedule so he doesn't notice. Getting drinks is the easiest mission, but it is also kinda boring. It doesn't have a unique or fun challenge, and it kinda feels like a waste of time. Changing the music is much better, as the rooms you have to go through put up a decent challenge. And finally, changing the clock. I hate this part. You basically have to make the clock match certain hours to open some doors. This part isn't really that hard. Any person with a brain cell who can read an analog clock will have no trouble with it, but it just feels like a pace breaker. If it was just once, okay, I can accept it. But having to come back here 3 times minimum just to do the same thing again and again makes me never want to look forward to do this section again. And it sucks because the challenges that you do in those doors are actually quite fun. See, that's the thing about Devil Gardens. When it gets good, it can actually offer a tough and fulfilling challenge. It's just those moments that make you go, ugh. But if there's one thing that saves this entire level for me, is the happy hour. Easily one of the most memorable ones in the entire game. It starts out as you will expect, making you go through a maze in order to progress. But soon after, you gain control for the first time ever of the Brulo mech. And that's when the real fun starts! A transformation that makes you invincible and demolishes everything in your path. It's such a satisfying payoff after everything Devil Gardens put you through, and one of the coolest sequences in the entire game. Now, the real question is, if Bruno had such an awesome mech just lying around, then why did his wife divorce him? We may never know, but despite the issues I have with the level, Devil Gardens still has good enough qualities to put it on the 7th spot.
That Brulo has some skeletons in his closet for sure.
I have a small bias for the Math Mall because A, it's the first level I ever completed a time trial on, and B, this is where I grinded money the most to get the spray cans, but moving my bias aside, this is still a great level. The Math Mall stands out by offering you 4 different sets of challenges, and you get to decide the order in which you do them. From going through a maze of balls, launching keys to open paths, playing a shooting gallery, or defeating trash goblins, that is entirely up to you. But here's the kick. Every single section has a set timer that resets every time you set off a detonator or time runs out. Depending on your performance, it will directly affect how much remaining time you'll have during the happy hour, and you'll be forced to take the long way out. But if you successfully manage to press all 4 detonators in time, not only will the happy hour be a piece of cake, you'll gain access to a vault that rewards you with a hell lot of money. An incredible reward for being a good player, and also one of my favorite grinding spots to earn money. If I had to point out a negative though, I really despise the trash goblin section. On your first time, they're almost impossible to catch. When you finally figure them out, they're still incredibly annoying to deal with. One mistake, and it's a lot of wasted time. I cannot tell you how many times they caused me to miss the part time during the time trial. This part sucks really badly. But hey, at least it's technically the shortest section, and it doesn't really drag down the rest of the challenges. I really appreciate the Math Mall, not just for its diversity in which it puts your skills to the test, but also because of how it rewards you for being a great player.
Crimson contention is the devil's harvest.
Crimson Factory is simply a level that I can describe as it's so much fun, and I really don't know what else to call it. The factory setting does set a lot of expected yet great obstacles that will keep you engaged. From conveyor belts that can mess up with your speed, pistons that can squash you if you're not careful, the returning sticky walls from a previous level, enemies that can cause huge explosions, and another great transformation, the jetpack that sends you flying at high speeds while avoiding explosives. Hey, wait a second, I've seen this before, it's a classic. Crimson Factory also has a lot of memorable set pieces, from going through conveyor belts while outrunning explosives, racing a ball buster to reach a spray can, all of those jetpack sections, and the cherry on top, the happy hour with the Mecha Satan. Not only is his appearance so unique, it makes the escape sequence all the more tense and exciting. Also fun trivia, this level has the shortest happy hour timer in the whole game, so yeah, less experienced players might struggle a bit with this part. If I were to nitpick about something though, the canon section right before the happy hour does drag on for too long and doesn't have a lot of interesting things going on for it. It's cool to build up the final obstacle of the level, make no mistake, but yeah, this could have been shorter, or at least be more engaging. Even so, that doesn't take away just how much fun it is to go through Crimson Factory, which earns the 5th spot on this list.
There, don't smile because it happened. Cry because it's over!
Let's go back a few games to the past to AntonBlast roots, Wario Land 4. If you were to ask me which level is my favorite in this game, without a doubt, that is the Golden Passage. A level that as soon as you start, you trigger the hurry up sequence, where most of the obstacles are enemies and transformations from previous levels. It is the pinnacle of everything you learn through your adventure. It's difficult, tense, and even stressful to some degree. But man, it is so damn good! And that is exactly what Hell Manor is. One last trial against time of everything you experience throughout the game before your final battle against Satan. Just like Smash Bros. Ultimate, everyone is here. Big asterisk there. Almost every enemy, mechanic, and transformation is thrown at you. The bomb transformation, the rocket pack, the Brulo mech, and even that stupid pinball makes a return here. And these challenges don't mess around. The timer may seem lenient, but trust me, if you're going after everything, you better get ready to bring out your A game. Just as a point of comparison, the first time I ever beat this level, I only had 10 seconds left on the clock. It is that challenging, with very tight platforming, tricky obstacles, only a handful of checkpoints to go around, and easily the most frustrating and difficult part to find in the game. No, seriously, this part actually pissed me off. Hell Manor will not show you any mercy. Either you get good or get good. But if you ask me, that's what a final level should be like. It's tense, epic, challenging, and climactic. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Ahem! My eyes are up here!
Bomb Candy Mines is a level that I actually kinda dislike at first, but multiple playthroughs allow me to appreciate it even more, to the point where I can say, yeah, this is a great level! This initial hate stems from the fact that Bomb Candy Mines is one of those levels that constantly makes you say, where the hell do I go? And it's so funny because the level does try to literally point you where you're supposed to go. Maybe I was just too stupid, but on my first time around, I was constantly going in circles, being so confused about where to go next. My first run on this level took me more than 20 minutes, that is insane! Honestly, this problem disappears the more you play it, but the first time I came here, yeah, I did not enjoy this at all. But when you move that issue, or my stupidity, out of the way, Bomb Candy Mines has a lot of great stuff going on for it. A lot of fun mechanics and memorable set pieces. It has dice-shaped switches that open new routes. You have to use the bomb candies to destroy special blocks and can even make new platforms. There's
giant enemy crabs
that throw explosives at you. The happy hour has you being chased by these giant lava walls that add some extra tension. And my absolute favorite thing about it, it has the bomb transformation, which lets you bounce really high and dash through the air. This is seriously my favorite transformation in the entire game. Yes, even more than the Brulo mech. I really wish it had been used more, just because of how much fun it is. Aesthetically, I love this level. Despite taking place in a mine, it's filled with so much color, making it look very appealing. Oh, and the music that plays here is just so good! I know I already mentioned this on my review of the game, but come on, are we just gonna pretend this is not inspired by Studiopolis from Sonic Mania? Legend recognizes legend. Also, huge shoutouts to the Metal Gear Solid 3 reference. Did they think I will notice the...
What a thrill.
Hell no! I adore that game! Bomb Candy Mines deserves to be this high on the list because of how I went from disliking it to appreciating a hell lot more. Really solid level that deserves to be on the top 3 of this video.
Frogs croaking in the lagoon means rain will come soon.
The mysterious glass house is such a strange level, and I mean that as a compliment. It's one where you can never predict what's going to happen next. Let's get something out of the way. This level is long. Personally, I find this to be the longest level in the game. Even with multiple playthroughs under my belt, it still took me almost 20 minutes to finish it. Normally, I will complain about this, but the mysterious glass house is such an incredibly solid and fun level that time just stops being an issue. Because every single thing this level does is so damn good that I just stopped caring about it. Level is too long? Pfft, whatever. It's so well paced and there's always something keeping me engaged. There's too many gimmicks and set pieces, yeah, and all of them are so much fun to go through. But alright, let's see how this level is structured. I like to divide the mysterious glass house into 4 main sections. The beginning, that takes place in a greenhouse, which will have you collecting bulbs to make plants grow and use as platforms to proceed. There's some short underwater sections, and also, it introduces the Angel transformation, which not only delivers a tough challenge, but also prepares you for the upcoming battle against Ringadink, which, by the way, I love how this level teases him before you even get to see him. That's some cool foreshadowing. The second area takes place above the clouds, and will have you doing some tense platforming challenges. These plants can honestly catch you off guard if you hesitate, and it also features the return of the grinding mechanic. What I like so much about this part is that the platforming is actually pretty tough. It's as if the game is telling you, yeah man, this is the end game, the kitty gloves are off. But at no point does the difficulty become unfair. And I really like this part where you use the Angel transformation and the little devil tries to distract you by saying, don't choke, don't mess up, don't blow it. And you know what the worst part is? I always fall for it. Whoever put this guy here was genuinely evil. The third section is so mysterious.
Say that again?
Because it has you doing a sudden underwater section where you must constantly avoid a giant fish trying to eat you, and you must clear the way by baiting it into opening new paths. It's very intuitive and tense too. I really like the constant presence of this fish. It keeps the underwater sections more interesting, and not to rub salt in the wound, but this is basically what I wish the big bad could have had. A big enemy you always gotta be wary of. And finally, you have the happy hour, which basically combines the first 3 sections into one fantastic escape sequence. And to top it all off, the music that plays in this level is my favorite track in the entire game. Not only is the song catchy as hell, but the Tony Grayson really helped to use the sample voice of
I'm in the house like Marcus, and if it's 2 50 heads in my blunt, I won't stalk it out, put it in my pocket, and say like rocket.
For all the reasons I just stated, the mysterious glass house earns the title of the second greatest level in all of AntonBlast. So if that's the case, then who wins the first place? Well, let's check it out.
Pulling the devil by the tail does not lead you far.
If you wanna talk about a level that has no low points and it excels in every single aspect, that level is none other than Concrete Jungle. I love this level, I love this level, I love this level, it's so good! I seriously cannot find any flaws to it. I love the aesthetic. As the name implies, it combines elements from nature and cities, which makes for a really unique and pleasant level to look at. The music is simply marvelous, fitting the theme so well with a funky and beautiful tune. It kind of feels like something David Wise will compose. The length is just great. Not too long, not too short. It's just right. And the level itself is so well designed. Concrete Jungle stands out by utilizing 4 main mechanics. Grinding, which keeps you moving at high speeds while avoiding bosses. Jelly walls that lets you climb on any surface that has them. Throw Gorkies, which are monkeys that can throw you wherever you want. And finally, jelly blocks that can be used as trampolines to reach greater heights. Where Concrete Jungle really shines is how it connects all of these mechanics in a smart way to make for an insanely fun level where you are constantly on the move. You could be grinding on rails, but then a monkey can grab you to access a new area. Or you could bounce off a jelly block to grab onto a jelly wall and climb even higher. While the level itself is not too difficult, it still has some optional challenges that reward you handsomely if you overcome them. And really, that's all I can say. When I play a platformer, I like them to be fast. There's nothing more satisfying for me than being constantly on the move and being rewarded for my skill and keeping the speed going. Concrete Jungle is a level that perfectly scratches that itch for me. It always has something happening, and at no point it ever drops my attention. There is simply not a dull moment to be had here. Everything that this level sets out to do, it passes it with flying colors. it's thanks to this that I declared Concrete Jungle the greatest level in all of AntonBlast.
Okay, you know the drill. Now it's time that you tell me your own personal opinion. How will you rank the 12 levels in AntonBlast? Is there a pick you disagree with in this video? Then please let me know in the comments. And while you do that, thank you so much for your time. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to support the channel, I'm just saying you can do so by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and Patreon. Anything helps. Have a wonderful day and take care. I'll see you next time.